and you're on.
Hi, Sue Duber here. Today was the launch of the WOW Challenge, sponsored by Bakashana. I am fortunate and honored to be a member of the Bakashana board. I'm super excited about this campaign to launch a global conversation and to also raise funds for a worthy cause. It was inspired by Claire's experience in Zambia. Claire's my daughter, and also my experience when I was there, and the intense relating that happens all the time among women, whether that's in the field or in the Nsaka or where in the town, whatever it is, you're always seeing women talking, relating, laughing together. And that kind of began the question of, are we missing something in our busy world where we forget to sit and carve out time to really listen to each other? So that's what this is about. And like I say, we're super excited. I did interview one of the wise women in my life. I'm fortunate to have many. And that wise woman was my sister, Kathy Bengtson. Kathy's 10 years older than I, and although she lives in Ohio and I live in Hawaii, we are fortunate that we get together on quite often, sometimes even 3 times a year. But I really feel like there's something unique, and something happens when you carve out time and say, I want to sit and interview you. It sets a different intention, and I think not only was it interesting for me to ask very specific, deep questions, but I think the experience Kathy had was that she really felt listened to and that her story mattered. So I actually think this whole process is kind of a win-win. Let's see, the pearls of wisdom that I came away with. Actually, there were 3. The first one is the notion that Kathy said we cannot forget to the importance of surrounding ourselves with a circle of women, a community of women, women who love us, women who lift us up, women who despite our flaws are there for us during the ups and downs of life. It made me very appreciative of all the wise women in my life. A shout out to this great community of women that I have. And I think it's really good advice, because we do get busy in our lives and forget sometimes that friendships are like gardens that we need to tend to and spend time nurturing. And then the second and third are kind of related. It was elicited by the question, what advice would you have for your younger self? And Kathy's advice was, I would take better care of myself. And when I kind of dove into that, she said I would do more things that nurtured my body and my soul. So interesting that she had both body and soul that in mind. And she talked about the fact that as women, one of the gifts we have is that we're so good at serving others, and that we play so many different roles and are so giving of ourselves that oftentimes it comes at the expense of our own self-exploration. And then related to that, she talked about that notion. She talked about her experience as a mother when the kids were grown and old and moved out of the house. She was very much faced with the question, who am I? The mother part of her, as is true with many women, is sort of all-encompassing for you for a while in your life. But her advice was for young women to make sure they carve out time to really get to know who the core of their being is. And it's interesting because if you think about that, of course we all know that there's a core part of us, regardless of the roles we have in life, that is who we are and who we have been from the moment we were born. I'm reminded of Claire, my daughter, one of the co-founders of Bakashana. When she was born, this little child opened her eyes and looked around and kind of said, I'm here, world, I'm ready for adventure, but was fiercely independent from the time she was born, and I see that reflected in the life choices she's making now. So thank you, Kathy. I think those were 3 really good nuggets to take away from our time together. And now the challenge. First, I'd like to challenge Kathy Bengtson. I happen to know she's going to be spending time with the matriarch of our family here in another week or so. So Kathy, I'm challenging you. Maybe you can shoot your video from your cruise ship in the Caribbean. Second challenge goes out to the Shim sisters. I'm blessed to have them in my life. Ali, Mana, and Lauren. Ali and Lauren are here, and Mana is in Japan, but I'm hoping Mana will be home for the holidays. And maybe, girls, you could do this as a group project, because you three are surrounded by an amazing group of wise women. So you might actually have a hard choice there, but I know that they have a lot to offer, both you and the rest of the world. And then thirdly, I would like to challenge Sienna Swift. Sienna is also surrounded by many wise women in her life, many of who are very dear to my heart. Sienna, I challenge you, take the WOW challenge, interview a wise woman, and then share your knowledge during this campaign. So there you go, I did it finally, the WOW challenge video. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Thank you for learning about Bakashana, and let's make this happen. Thank you. Aloha.